Hello. I've got a book here called the DSM-4. It's a Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. And Tourette's Syndrome is in here, listed as Tourette's disorder. I've had people ask, and so I think it's important to be forthright about whether or not I know for sure this is Tourette's. And there's two ways of answering that question. I have no doubt in my mind that it is, as far as I know. I have a master's degree in counseling and whatnot, but there is a possibility that it could be something else. So there is that reality too. I have not received an official diagnosis, but that is hopefully forthcoming. And there's various reasons for that maybe I can go into later. But so I will be seeking an official diagnosis. And part of the reason is because I do want to rule out any other potential causes for it, like maybe a brain tumor or something like that, which would of course be another animal in and of itself. So I want to make sure of things like that, and that's part of the process. So I do not have an official diagnosis of Tourette's syndrome. The story behind my discovery, there's various parts of it, but during a class on clinical diagnosis, when I was getting my master's degree, we were asked to do some case studies, and I had just not that long before that found out about Tourette's disorder, or Tourette syndrome, and recognized a lot of the things that I discovered in myself. But I basically wrote my case studies for that class about myself, and had confirmed by the professional teaching the class that the diagnosis of Tourette's would be appropriate. But there are other important factors, like I said, ruling out other things, which in a good diagnosis would be part of a good diagnosis, is ruling out some of those other things. So I will be seeking that. But people are wondering what Tourette's disorder is, and so I'm going to read it from the book. There's a lot more than just this, but this is kind of the diagnostic criteria. It actually says that. Diagnostic criteria for 307.23 Tourette's disorder. A. Both multiple motor and one or more vocal tics have been present at some time during the illness, although not necessarily concurrently. A tic, it goes on to explain it, a tic is a sudden, rapid, recurring, non-rhythmic, they're trying to say I don't have rhythm or something, I don't know, non-rhythmic, stereotyped motor movement or vocalization. So some of mine are, aside from the obvious ones, vocal tic that I have is coughing, which I have a desire to do right at that second. And I also make a noise in the back of my throat that's kind of different, which both I've mentioned before in other videos have been pretty easy to cover up. And the physical tics you can see with your own eyes on that. So that's A, motor tic and vocal tic, although not necessarily both at the same time. The tics occur many times a day, usually in bouts nearly every day or intermittently throughout a period of more than 1 year, and during this period there was never a tick-free period for more than 3 consecutive months. So in a 12-month period, a person is ticking basically every day, and they haven't gone 3 months in that period without ticking or having these ticks. And when it talks about bouts, you may notice from video to video, sometimes I'm ticking more than other times, and that's just kind of the nature of this. And there's a lot of factors that can go into that, but that's part of it. The onset is before age 18 years, and that's C. And so far, I'm seeing myself in this. D, the disturbance is not due to the direct physiological effects of a substance, like a stimulant, or a general medical condition. Example would be Huntington's disease or post-viral encephalitis, or something like anything else that we would need to rule out that could be a cause of the symptoms besides Tourette. So that's why getting a true diagnosis would oftentimes, or something that I would prefer to have in my search for whatever is the correct diagnosis for certain, is ruling out the possibility of some of those other things. So so that's one of the next parts of the journey. That's partly why this has been so surprising for a lot of people, is for my family growing up, I covered this up so much and so well that to them it was just little things here and there that they noticed. I had my brother say that when he watched this video, he recognized all those different movements that I did. I've seen each one of those things, but not all at the same time, or not in a way that it caused alarm. And so I never went to a doctor or a specialist or anything like that. It was never disruptive in school, where it required additional attention and so forth. So that's why it went undiagnosed for me growing up. And so this is a new journey. It's something that I've always known, obviously, about myself. Gradually grew to know what it was. Finally was able to let other people see it, and now we're at the part where it's time to try to find a professional that can help verify that. And there's various reasons that it's important for me to or important to me to obtain that. So I really have no doubt of what it is. I feel like it's one of those things where I can feel the truth of it in my bones, but officially that's where we're at. So that's the next stage. So as I make these videos, as we get more into this, maybe I can update people on that too. So what I'm trying to do is express things as I am experiencing them and from my perspective, from what I've seen of others with Tourette's. It's very similar. Like I said, everybody experiences it a little bit differently, but hopefully this can be helpful in a lot of ways. So thank you, and hope that answers some questions. So see ya.